Evil Geniuses Gambit, that's a battle for the ages, and once again they butted heads. This time it was Evil Geniuses coming out on top after a 50-minute epic.
Now Crepo immediately turns around, lashes in, hooks on towards him. They do try and put the damage down towards Diamond Prox, and they may well be able to get first blood. Flashes away from it, and Crepo flashes, showing the Thresh Prince how to do it. Taking down Diamond Prox in the jungle for first blood.
Bullet time is available, but it's up to Gambit right now or lose this game.
The box comes down. Darian's Guardian Angel will get popped. The final Nexus turret will finally drop, and Evil Geniuses will take down Gambit.
Copenhagen Wolves, they were coming up against Fnatic. They needed a victory, and they got it. And they finally took them down, taking it 3-0 for the day.
Bjergsen picks up the kill. The stun card down. That's going to be a double kill for Bjergsen. Stun card flash. Soa's caught out. Bjergsen with a triple kill. But it is Copenhagen Wolves having a fantastic day. 3 games in one day. No problem. They go 3-0.
Welcome once again to the LCS studios in Cologne for the last day of Super Week. That means it's all or nothing for our teams, and the pressure is enormous as they fight to clinch their rightful spots in the standings today. Yesterday, we saw SK Gaming securing their 3rd place spot with some extraordinary plays from Candy Panda. Evil Geniuses taking the better of Gambit, and the Copenhagen Wolves returning to the LCS with an impressive 3-0. You know, every day is a great day to be a League of Legends fan, but especially today with 8 great games coming up. And to bring us up to date on the standings and the matches for today, I'll send you over to the lovely, talented and handsome Lee D-Man Smith and Jason Kaplan.
Oh, poor Jason. You
never get handsome or lovely at all.
Thank you very much, Shox. You are looking wonderful again today. It is the final day of Super Week. It's Super Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. We do have 8 huge games for you today. And first up, let's check out the results from yesterday and the standings, of course, to see where it's all at stake. So starting off, Jason, take us through the first 3 games.
Well, we started off the day with the Copenhagen Wolves versus the Dragonborns, and the Wolves were back after a bye week, and everyone's wondering, like, how good would they actually do? And they used this kind of team composition with global presence with a Shen, a Twisted Fate, and Ashe, and they took a victory in a very one-sided fashion. And of course, the next match was SK versus against Authority, and you know, with the SK on the brink of clinching that 3rd place standings, they wanted to get that win. They wanted to lock down that spot. And with both teams looking very strong after their performances the previous day, we were expecting a very close game, but yet again, we saw another very one-sided match, and SK took that win. And of course, we followed that up with Dragonborns versus Gambit. It was the top of the table versus the bottom of the table clash. And Dragonborns were looking to control their destiny a little bit and who they play in the promotion series, but Gambit wouldn't let that happen. And Alex, yet again, on his Twisted Fate, reminding us why he's one of the best mid players in the world.
And then it was the Wolves. They continued their run, taking down the Giants in a dominant performance. Next up, of course, it was an age-old battle between Evil Geniuses and Gambit, and the balance was restored. EG managed to pull off a great win over the Russians to draw 2-2 for the season. And finally, another battle for the ages. Fnatic clashed into the Copenhagen Wolves, who looked to have been unstoppable throughout the day as they picked up a victory, taking them 3-0 for the day. So let's have a look at the standings. At the top of the table right now, it is Gambit. They are 2-1 this week so far. Of course, that loss to Evil Geniuses yesterday was a big upset for them. But Fnatic, they thought they could get that 1st place, but no. The Copenhagen Wolves, they took them down at the end of the day, and it wasn't to be. SK Gaming continued the trend. They're 2-1 after their loss to Fnatic. They didn't lose to Evil Geniuses. They haven't done that yet. That's later on today.
Yeah,
that's the last game of the day. Maybe I've just pulled out the crystal ball. Who knows? Evil Geniuses, though, they have picked up their 1st win of the weekend. They are 1-2, beating Gambit yesterday.
And of course, Wolves, the only team so far in Super Week to be undefeated, going 3-0 with that amazing victory over Fnatic. And we have to point out, they are 1 game away from EG, so we could see a swap happen in the standings where they could take 4th place, and that would be a great finish for them after going 0-9 in the beginning of the season against Authority. They did start off with 2-1 records so far, and Giants and Dragonborns both 0-3 and kind of locked down in those bottom 2 positions.
Yeah, it's sad times for the bottom of the table, both 0-3, but that is where everyone is right now in the league. And if the playoffs were to happen right now, let's take a look at how it works out for them. Because as it stands, remember, 4th place 5th and 3rd place 6th. That would be SK Gaming versus Against All Authorities and Copenhagen Wolves versus Evil Geniuses. And that also means that 2nd and 1st sitting in them semi-finals places does mean that Fnatic would be there waiting for SK and AAA. and Gambit would be ready and waiting for EG versus the Wolves.
Damon, look at that round one. That is not going to be an easy match at all. I mean, the entire playoffs, there's going to be not one easy match.
So those playoffs, by the way, are next
Yes, they are.
week. That will all be happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So be sure to tune into all that. You can, of course, check out all the stats, match previews, recaps, replays over at lolesports.com. So let's look at what we got today. If I could speak, it would be beautiful. Beautiful start to the day. And we do have on your screens those matches. So starting off the day, Pride is at stake in the first game. It is Dragonborns, currently bottom of the table, facing off against Fnatic. If they could get a win, it wouldn't mean jack diddly to them, but it would be a very nice win for them nonetheless. After that, of course, after yesterday's defeat, Gambit, they could be out to prove a point as Gambit facing off against All Authority in the second match of the day. And then it's SK Gaming, currently third place secured. They're going to be facing the Giants.
Of course, we have right after that the highlight match of the day for me. It is Evil Geniuses versus Copenhagen Wolves. And after the clash that counts, the Evil Geniuses are going to be facing against the Wolves for the 4th place position here. And we'll see how that kind of happens. And of course, we have Giants versus Fnatic coming up right after that. Currently 3 wins for Fnatic looking against them in the series, and they're trying to have a flawless series against the Giants. Copenhagen Wolves versus the Gambit. The Wolves looked amazing in their opening matches of the Super Week, going 3-0 so far and taking down Fnatic, but the real challenge lies ahead with their game versus Gambit.
And then, of course, with both teams now locked in their respective positions after 2 days of Super Week, these teams will be using their opportunity to prepare for the playoffs in Against All Authority's case and the promotion tournament in Dragonborns' case. Then the final game of the day. It's a big one, ladies and gentlemen. We close out the Super Week with the regular season, I should say, because we've had 10 fantastic weeks of League of Legends, and the spring split will be finishing off with Evil Geniuses versus SK Gaming. Every time these two teams meet is always explosive, and with the victory over Gambit yesterday, EG is looking fantastic. I couldn't think of a better way to end the Super Week and the spring split than with these two teams going head-to-head. Fantastic, fantastic matches today. I think we'll both agree there's a lot of games that don't mean a great deal, but there's a lot of games that do as well. So bear with us throughout the whole day because it should be a fantastic show. So those are the games ahead of us today. And before we start, we want to hear what you have to say. So to give us a good explanation is Shox in our beautiful yellow dress.
Thank you very much. All right, our Twitter question for today is, what team do you think has the biggest chance of an upset win in the playoffs and why? You know, you can reach us at LOL Esports, #LCS on Twitter for the answer to that question and, of course, your opinion on anything LCS. And as always, we'll respond to your tweets later in the show. Now, in an interview on Friday, SOAS told me we're top 2, but we want to be number 1. To show that they deserve that top spot in the standings, they'll need to dismiss the Dragonborns once and for all. Fnatic versus the Dragonborns in the first match of the day after the break.
even though we are 8, we have chances for 6. I mean, worst case scenario, we'll go to the qualifications, and I hope we will just go for the second half and play better there.
If we are 7th or 8th place, we'll end up having a bye week before the relegation matches, and we're gonna bootcamp and train really hard. I think we're gonna end up playing Nature Makers, and we defeated them before, and we're probably gonna do it again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get the Epic Days gaming started. So let's get into the first match without further ado. It's Dragonborns versus Fnatic right now. So, Dragonborns, well, they just said they could try and get to 6th place. Joe Miller just laughing. He's completely got me in the giggles. But, unfortunately, they're in 8th place. They can't get into 6th spot. And, you know, it's interesting to see the manager saying, we're going to boot camp. Should they not have been doing it for the last 10 games?
Yeah, I mean, well, yes, because they need to come together as a team.
Yes,
We'll just
yes,
say yes
really
to start
should
off. But I'll explain. It's like, and yeah, they need to come together as a team. And they kind of knew, like, they were kind of in, like, a downward spiral, like, emotionally as a team. Just they couldn't seem to get wins. They were, 0-14 at some point. And they know, if we don't win these relegation promotion tournament, then how are we going to keep our LCS career alive? And they have to win that. So they need to give it their all in those, a week, about 10 days they have to practice.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, they've run a number of different builds as well, Dragonborns. They're trying to keep everything alive, trying to keep people on their toes. But the problem is they're up against Fnatic, who've done just that as well.
Yes.
They've played Nunu yesterday at the top lane, worked out brilliantly for Soaz.
Yeah, they can play pretty much anything. And since they're already in the top of the table, I wouldn't be surprised if they're practicing a couple of more different strategies, just to try a couple of new champions, maybe even see Draven in the top lane for Soaz if they can lock that in somehow. But, Fnatic already 2-1 in the Super Week, looking so strong, even after their loss against the Wolves. Like, that game was still relatively close the entire time, but the Wolves were able to pull out, like, a rabbit out of their hat and just, well, they had Twisted Fate, so they did, but they got enough kills to be able to turn the game around.
See what you did there, ladies
Yeah,
and
that was
gentlemen.
pretty
So
lame,
let's
though.
get into the lineups, though. It's going to be Yamato Cannon in the top lane, Maluno, Shushe, Hosan, and Movet.
And of course, for Fnatic, we have Soaz, Cyanide, Expeke, we have Blank, which is actually Yellow Star, and Enrated.
Oh, that blank yellow star. Poor little blank yellow star. But Yamato Cannon in that top lane, he's currently, he's coming to the team, and he's done okay. He's actually done okay for them since he's moved into it.
Yeah, I mean, considering he has a lot on his shoulders, like, he is a play caller for their team. So trying to come into a team and adjust your play calling to what the team likes to use, likes to do, is really relatively hard. But then to go against the top players in Europe, in the top lane, is also not an easy feat. So he has a lot of stress, a lot of weight on his shoulders, and he's been slowly lifting that off. But it's going to come down to if he can do that in time for the relegation.
Well, so we have a spinning camera shot of Peke and Cyanide there. Peke didn't look too impressed, I've got to be honest. He's just like, what are you doing? What are you doing, son? And it's a YOLO morning for Cyanide, I think, as well. So as, of course, in that mid lane, the shot caller, I guess you could say, for Fnatic. Let's see what shots he does call. Twisted Fate being banned out, as well as Draven. No surprises there. Zed and Lux, thick and fast. These bans keep coming. And who is going to be left available? Jarvan, the 4th, may well sneak through here.
Yep, well, it's the one shape that Luna's been playing quite a bit. Cyanide can play pretty much anything at this point in that jungle. They do take away a Shen, which we have seen used in the jungle previously. And of course, Thresh being taken away by Fnatic, so they don't want Mover on him. And they also don't want Expect, obviously, on that Twisted Fate, or even, Hosan on his patented Draven.
So they went for Elise as first pick, which does mean that Fnatic could go for Jarvan. I would absolutely love Soaz to lock in that team. We saw him doing it in the 1v1. Didn't work out quite so well. We did see Nunu in there as well, but it could be a champion he uses in that top lane again. It does require the whole team to work as one to just pull them in towards that Nunu. It's not just something you can just run on your own in solo queue, ladies and gentlemen. Just telling you, giving you a public service announcement right there. Don't run it in solo queue.
And we saw it with Gambit yesterday. Alex, he kept trying to use his ultimate, but he had to pair it with the crescendo out of Edward, and they just couldn't time or sync correctly, and he never really got off an amazing ultimate, not back to their old Empire days, which we saw back at Kiev. But they do lock in the Nasus, so we're going to see a pretty standard jungle right there out of him. And the thing is, we expect Nasus to be in the jungle, but we have seen Cyanide run Nunu in the jungle before. But with Soaz playing him in the top lane, we should expect it there.
So Jarvan the 4th being locked in, as well as Misfortune. They are almost standard picks these days. Yellow Star on Twitch, it's something he's been running a number of times, the last few games running. And he switches across to Tristana just to keep me on my toes.
See, my question, Demon, is the Elise pick we've seen it run as support for SK, finally. We saw it originally back before with Crepo. Will Mover give it his own hand at that?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see whether he does go with it. You know, this is the time to try things. You know, they're looking at the possible 8th place spot right now is most likely where, in fact, it is where the Dragonborns are going to be. They can't get into 7th, can they?
No, they can't.
They've secured that 8th spot. Well done, Dragonborns. You have that last spot secured.
So harsh.
It's been a hard-fought week for them, really, because they didn't start. They weren't here for the first week, or the second, actually, I think. They didn't even come into it till the 3rd week, if I recall. And they started off so well. They picked up wins in that first week, but they haven't picked up too many since.
Yeah. And going back to the picture real quick, because we see Kha'Zix is picked. So we've seen Soaz yesterday against the Wolves on him. Didn't do all that great. So I'm actually curious to see if Xpeke might run him. Or maybe we'll see what Gambit did and Xpeke would be on Nunu himself.
It could be the support Nunu. It could be unrated on Nunu.
That is true.
I'm expecting that to be Peke. So he's going to be yumping around without a care in the world.
Very true. And we all know how strong a Kha'Zix can really be. Against the line they have so far, I'll just say it would be pretty good a champion to use against them. But with that Kayle potentially being locked in, which we have seen Mover use as support, that will kind of counter and potentially stop the resets that will come in from that champion.
So we're waiting for the final picks to come from the Dragonborns. Kayle has been a champion of choice for Xuxe this season. Worked sometimes it just didn't. But hopefully for them it will work.
Yeah,
Against the Kha'Zix in the mid?
He can. Well, the thing is, it's
of
like
course, he's gonna go Kennen. It's gonna be AP Kennen.
Okay, so he's gonna do that again. It looks like, or maybe Kennen support, or even a top lane, because we have seen Freddy wants to use him in the top lane.
You know it is.
Well, yeah, I just want to look at the hopes.
The guy dresses himself up as Kennen. He actually wears a Kennen suit, so we know he's gonna play Kennen.
It didn't work out well for him yesterday, though. I have to say, he wasn't really able to do too much. And the thing is, he obviously can harass from range. He's going to build like the 2 Dorn's Blades he did yesterday. But if Kha'Zix gets on top of you, even with your Lightning Rush, he's going to be able to burst you down very quickly. Like even at level 2, that's when you kind of go for the jump, and with the Q, you just try to blow them up as fast as possible. And we'll see how that works out.
Well, I mean, I saw Xuxe earlier on. He's obviously brought his dog in. He said, "I don't give a
truck."
I think that's what he was aiming for.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
I think that's what he was going for.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, why not? I mean, it's your last day in LCS Spring Split. You know you're going to be having to play the promotion series, so why not do whatever you want?
Do what you like. No cares given is the phrase that we can use on air. And Zyra, the last pick for Fnatic. That means it will be N-rated, Soaz and the top lane. And it will be Kha'Zix in that mid lane once again. So, should be a good Fnatic lineup.
Or will it?
Dragonborns, of course, they've got a good lineup themselves. Or will it indeed? I'd be happy to see Peke running it in the mid lane. We could see some completely different changes. You know, they are still fighting for that first spot. So, there's still a lot to play for Fnatic.
That is very true. And we saw Alex... We saw you ran him yesterday, but he ran him in the top lane. So we might see that happen against that Elise. It wouldn't be too bad since she has that range to harass you as they keep switching around on us every couple of seconds. You know, the extra heal you get as well will be very hard for Elise to push you out of lane, but we'll see what they actually go with. And I'm curious to see how well Yellowstar uses this Twitch with the Zyra combo. Because you obviously have the Blood Boil late game, so Twitch is going to just destroy people late game. But the lane comp they have, as even Dragonborns are still switching up. And when we get this finally locked in, we can tell you what is happening. And the crystal ball is definitely broken today, Demon, because we do have, well, I still messed it up a little bit too, but we do have Xuxe on Kayle in the mid lane, and your Monacan's going to be running Kennen in the top. And that means Mover on support Elise.
Yeah, so a couple of changes coming in there. Peke has got the Kha'Zix back as well. A cheeky grin from Mover there, and a shot at the crowd. You can see the Fnatic manager in there. Now the All-Star manager as well. The coach running, having to control 3 crazy Russians, a German, and a Frenchman. An Englishman, put him in charge, why not?
It sounds like a good start to a joke. They all walk into a bar.
Sounds like a good start to a war to me. I don't know.
Oh god.
It's going to be one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. So they are the Dragonborns. They are going to be starting as the blue team, and it's an early morning for Maluno there as the morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get underway. It is going to be the blue team Dragonborns, going to be on your screen in just a moment. They are on your screens in person, and there is the red teams of Fnatic. So it is the 10th week, and some would say normally it would be a decade of aggression, ladies and gentlemen, but hell awaits for these teams as we get underway. And the Antichrist, aka Xuxe, is about to see if he can work his magic Kayle in that mid lane. We'll see whether it does work out, though. And Yellow Star, he's going looking, see whether they're going to get any crazy level 1 stuff.
And see if he can use that stealth as Twitch to get out of another death that it might have happened. But we do see the Dragonborns side already. 4 red pots picked up. We saw that happen yesterday. It didn't really work out well for them because they weren't able to really make any plays off of it. And also, before we do get underway, I want to point out that Yamato Cannon's using 13 flat armor pen, 10 flat magic pen, and 8% magic pen. So he's looking for a lot of early harassment so as to try to push him out of lane.
Well, we'll see if he does manage to push him out of lane. We do see Soaz in that top area, so it looks like it will be a Nunu versus Kennen in the top lane. Yellow Star is backing right now, though, so we could see a change around. Enrated is up there, and he's just checking out those bushes, throwing out the grasping roots. Nobody showing for them. Looks like Mover and Hosan are going to be switching, so Fnatic are simply responding to that. It's amazing just how much they could tell off just that tiny little bit of vision they had.
The thing is, if we do see Dragonborns head towards the top side with Hosan and Mover, I don't think that's going to be a good start for them because they have to get their level 2. If we see Yellowstar and Rated pick it up before them, which they have the double golems, they have the opportunity to go for it, they can force them out very quickly.
And look how many red pots that everybody has bought. There's 6 of them on the board completely. It's just crazy. Everybody wants them. So whether we see the aggression, I mean, Shushe and Kha'Zix and Peke, how do we see that standing? If they were both to go in red pot, sort of early levels, who would come out on top?
I would imagine that would have to be Xpeke, because you have the heal from that Void Spikes, obviously. You have just a lot more damage, like a lot more abilities that you can do damage with. Obviously, Shushe only has the Q, and he has a heal, and then the E for the extra range, yeah, but Xpeke should be able to keep up with you because of that passive, so I'd have to give it to him. But we have seen this matchup before, and we've seen how it's gone as well before.
Well, Yellow Star's been spotted out here. Hosan using that strut's going to get a couple of extra shots on towards Yellow Star, trying to use that push to his advantage, but he's going to take a hell of a lot of beating there from Hosan. And he's already down below half health, having to chug through those potions. Ooh, if that cocoon from Mover had landed, he would have been a dead rat.
So that early... The lane slots we saw happen for Fnatic and for Dragonborns ended up working out in Dragonborns' favor, even though they weren't able to get double golems. Because Unrated went over to the red buff to help out Cyanide, you saw Yellowstar just pushed out right away. That means Hosan's going to have control. He should be able to hit level 2 before him and gets a lot of early damage in.
And look at that, Peke and Shushe going straight at it in that mid lane. Former teammates, of course, and it is Peke that's coming out worse off so far to Shushe.
You see Shushe actually popped his red pot already just in the middle of that fight because you want to get that early damage in, maybe even try to force him out of the lane, but we do have Soaz getting ganked in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Maluna's going to come sliding through. Soaz does get caught out there, and he has to burn that flash very early on. But it's really, you've got to get the ganks on towards that Nunu early because he's just going to be such a pain in the lane later on. But Cyanide now, he's sneaking in the bush.
Yeah, we heard Soaz, we heard Alex talk about Nunu in a solo lane. Like, he's very susceptible to ganks early on, and if you don't apply that pressure, he can just get to that point where he's an immovable object. And you're seeing Cyanide camp him a little bit just to try to help him out here to see if Luna wants to come back yet again. Soaz has no wards towards the bottom side of the map, but it looks like it's going to... Well, actually, it's going to work out as you do see Luna heading over.
Yep. Soaz is ready and waiting for this one, though. Maluna with that double buff. Cyanide's been very, very patient in that bushes with his own double buff there. We do see the consume coming out from Soaz. He's going to walk away from this one. The ignite comes through, and now Cyanide shows himself, but he's a little bit too late. And first blood does go down. It's Maluna that picks it up. He flashes away. I don't think Cyanide can pick anything on from this one. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Shushe is being pressured. Peke finally using his red buff.
Yeah, it looks like Cyanide just went in just a little bit too late because Soaz just took a little bit too much damage that he could actually heal from. With the ignite being used right away, that means that consume he was going to use was cut in half, so the extra time that Cyanide had to get in got cut short, and he wasn't really expecting that. And then we saw in the middle lane, Shushe being forced to flash away because they went head-to-head. Xpeke still has this available, but that shows that Kha'Zix does beat KO early on. And as the game's going to progress a little bit further, Shushe should be able to keep up with him quite well.
Well, they're desperately trying to get that level 3 right now. Yellowstar's had to return back to lane. You can see both Dragonborns members, Movet and Hosan, have got their level 3 already, and the pressure is definitely on to Fnatic right now in the early phases of the game, but that's what they needed. This had to work for them with all that many red pots.
Yes, and they finally were able to make something off of it. Like we talked about yesterday how they had the 4-pot run as well, but they didn't have anything happen from it. Like, they didn't get any kind of kills, but luckily with that, they're able to kind of get their little bit of edge in the game that they're going to need to be able to take down Fnatic, who's been just so on form this entirety of Super Week.
Lashes coming out from Enrated. He's going to try and tow him down, but a double up from Hosan, it keeps him poked back further and further. He's still only at level 3, only just hitting level 3, by the way. Enrated there. Yellowstar, of course, at 4. He was in the lane a lot earlier on. So we do see Yamato Cannon return into that top or bottom lane, as it is, the solo lane, with a an amplifying tome, actually, so he's looking to get a bit of a ability power early on to try and poke out that SOAS. I wonder how that's going to work compared to the Dawn's Ring.
I think he's actually going to go for a Revolver off of that item because he keeps being harassed easily by SOAS just being in the lane at all. We do see a 4-man gank heading towards the top side here. Will they be able to pick up a kill?
There's a war ensemble in the top, and it could well be raining blood right now as they dive in towards there. Cyanide catches on towards Hosan. He is going south of heaven right now. We do see Movet. He's going in. Maluno is going to go down. It could be an altar of sacrifice there, and it is going to be Peke that picks up the kill.
And I don't know if it's over just yet. Mover's trying to run away, but Cyanide's in hot pursuit. We do see xPeke coming in from the side as well. I think he's going to get caught here, and it will be 3 kills for 1 death.
Well, Mover's going to be hoping that Jesus saves because I don't think he's going to be able to get it out of this one. And Peke could well just jump straight across. Oh, the voice box miss! He repels to the minions. Fantastic! Jesus does save him.
Well, great play out of Mover right there, escaping, using all his abilities to the perfect extent of it. But still, you can't forget that Fnatic did pick up those 2 kills in the top lane. We had 1 going over to Yellowstar, so now he's 1-0-1, and we had 1 kill going over to xPeke, so it makes it hard for Shushay to even lane against him.
Well, fantastic, fantastic play all across the map. Still 2-2 between these teams, 300 gold, and see them Ice Blast. They keep coming out from SOAS. He keeps getting that poke on towards him. Still no towers getting anywhere near down. Let's have a look across the items that they have picked up there. We can see Vampiric Scepter for Hosan. Still no items for Yellowstar. Hasn't been back to buy yet. Just gone back there, but Peke goes leaping in towards Shushay. Doesn't quite catch him out, though. Did use that ultimate to try and get that speed advantage, but it didn't work out in his favor.
So you touched on items a little bit. We see that Maluno picked up a Spirit Stone, which is a very interesting item. You obviously have 2 choices between the Razor and that item, and usually you see most Sharvins go for the Razor, but with this Spirit Stone, I'm curious to see if he's going to go into that early damage item, the Spirit of the Ancient Lizard, Spectral Wraith, one of those 2. One of those, actually, Ancient Lizard.
I love the question in your voice as you say it.
There's like 3 versions of them, so I'm just trying to remember which one, but go for that early damage item, as we saw Sven Skaren do yesterday against Fnatic.
Well, we get double Doran's Blade, though, for Yellowstar. He went back to buy it as well as that longsword, so going to keep the damage down as well as the hit point gain. And you can see him going aggressive on towards Hosan, dodges out of that cocoon again, and he's been rooted down as well. Yellowstar's going to go full on aggressive on this one. He does manage to make it stick. Now Mover's going to try and turn it around. Can he get on towards that rat? He wants to pick up a dead skin mask, but it's not going to happen, and he is going to go down. It's a double kill for Yellowstar. It is a season in the abyss.
And that is the result of Yellowstar picking up those 2 Doran's Blades and that longsword right away. Instead of going for boots to try to keep up with Hosan's speed on Misfortune, he wanted that early damage. He wanted to try to push him out, get some early kills, and really make his stamp on that lane. He did it right there. Now 3-0-1. He's down in CS, but it doesn't matter. Those 3 kills are going to give him way more gold than that 12 CS would have.
So we'll see whether Maluno manages to hold out that top lane away from him. Yellowstar going to go back and buy a lot of that gold he's just picked up. He's 3-0-1 right now. So we'll see what he goes back to buy. Of course, Tear of the Goddess was picked up. We see SOAS using that absolute 0 to clear the way. He's going to go back and buy as well. Vampiric Scepter does come out for Yellowstar. And that Tear of the Goddess is going to continue building. We do see Yamato coming. He does have that Hex Drinker on there, as you mentioned. Sorcerer's Boots coming out straight away from Shushay. Very early on item there.
Yeah, he wants that speed increase to really help out. So you're going to have expect, obviously, you can slow him with that Void Spikes when he obviously gets out of range or out of vision. But Shushay needs that speed to just stay away from him. He has the heals, so he's going to get that extra speed boost. But, you know, that allows him to harass a lot more to xPeke. He's got to be able to get his blue buff here, as xPeke will have his own. And that's just going to be really hard for him to deal with in the middle lane.
So, Blue Buff and Tear of the Goddess. There's just going to be constant spam, isn't there, coming out from there with the Void Spikes. No messing around. Cyanide, he's going to be starting off the Dragon. We've seen this happen a number of times with NASA's players. And just coming up to 9 minutes in, there's a ping going down. They're not too sure whether SOAS has company in that bottom lane. They don't really know where Maluno is right now, but it looks like he's going to be heading towards that mid lane. He's going to get spotted out by that ward. And the Dragon is going to go down solo for Cyanide.
And I'm curious to see right now what happens in terms of SOAS, what he wants to go with this build. We saw yesterday with Alex on Gambit. He went for the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith very early on and a Chain Vest. And because of that, he went for around an 18-minute Baron. I want to know if SOAS is going to do that yet again. He has a Revolver, so it's not necessarily the same build, but it's going to help him out quite a bit. It all depends on if he can actually get to that top lane, if turrets come down early on.
Okay, back in towards that mid lane. Throws out the Void Spikes towards Shushay. Shushay with the blue buff of his own. He's going to be able to put the pressure back on, but we do see Maluno hanging around there, ready and waiting to go. Shushay puts the ping ward down, tries to bait Peke in towards that bush, try and pull him away from that tower as much as he can. Remember, he's only at level 8. He won't have that jump evolved right now, so he won't be able to leap away quite so hugely. Doesn't have flash either at the moment, so this is a good time for Maluno to try and set that gank up.
And that's actually perfect timing, because Shushay knows his flash was up before xPeke, because he had to use it a little bit different time. So he needs to take advantage of this. Meluna was sticking around, still is trying to make something happen here, but we are going to see Cyanide come around. Looks like we actually will see some action happening soon.
Oh, I think he just got spotted by the banana bush ward there. No, they do ping it out, and immediately they back off from this one. Peke making a move down towards the bottom. They're all going to dive in towards Soaz, it seems. He's stacked in towards that bottom turret. It's going to be a 3-man dive from Dragonborns, but look at Fnatic getting in position ready.
They're going to dive him with only one interrupt out of that Jarvan and the Ken if he can land the stun, but looks like Fnatic might try to turn this around as they do defend it quite well. The Ghost coming in from Cyanide.
The Ghost from Cyanide gets on towards Shushay. He's going to use the intervention so early on, and that's a little too early. He flashes out of the absolute zero. Meluna goes in there. Peke leaps in. He's going to get Cataclysm on towards him. Shushay does get the kill. He finally manages to take him down. They're going to try and turn this one around. Cyanide, though, in all sorts of trouble. Yamato Cannon, he flashes away, tries to turn it back on towards Cyanide. The knock-up from Meluna, it might be enough. Yamato Cannon goes down. Cyanide should follow, and it's going to be a 1-for-1 back and forth between Soaz and Meluna. Jungler versus top laner. Can he catch him down? Oh, the Ice Blast's going to come through, but he's so low on mana. Then you can see the slide away. Flashes through. He's going to have another Ice Blast. The shield comes out, but it's not going to be enough. One more basic attack. It's a mandatory suicide for Meluna.
Great play, a 3 for 2 in the end for Fnatic right there, but wow, the juke's coming out of Meluna, but Soaz keeping up with him at every step of the way. Has a red buff now. You saw the ultimate get interrupted, and we talked about how important that ulti is for these team fights to happen, but right there obviously didn't matter too much.
So, how did things stand? 7-4, Fnatic with the advantage, 2,000 gold up. Just 11.5 minutes in this top lane. It's actually been pretty close between them, despite the fact it's been a 3-0-1 Yellowstar getting that double kill. He is still behind in CS, ever so slightly. Peke passing through that ward. He's going to be spotted going towards that top lane, so he's not as sneaky as he wishes. Instead, he just goes back to the Wraiths. Let's have a look towards the mid lanes between them. Shushay and Peke, 97 to 92 CS, but Peke, of course, with that 1 kill advantage. Now with the BF sword on top of that Tear of the Goddess has been stacking for a very long time now.
Okay, we see the items coming in for Soaz. He did go for the Spectral Wraith item. He has a Chain Vest, so we could see a very early Baron coming out of him. We don't see a Pink Ward just yet on him, as there is currently one right there, but Yellowstar trying to come in for gank on the mid lane.
Has to use the intervention, and Meluna comes in, tries to turn this back around. Shushay goes aggressive, but Peke and Yellowstar are there. The Voice Boys come back out. Cyanide pokes him down with that Spirit Fire, and suddenly 4 members of Dragonborns trying to react to this middle aggression.
The thing is, right now, Soaz, he wants to go for a Baron at this point, but he needs someone to cover his lane, or they'll know that's going to happen after seeing it yesterday. We still have Dragonborn stacking up in that middle lane, and nothing really happening towards the top side. Cyanide's trying to come around, trying to make something happen, but Peke alone, 1v4, is just keeping him there.
Yeah, Yamato Cannon came up the river as well, but it wasn't to be, and they do give the back-off warnings, and looks like they're going to fight quite aggressively for this blue buff. Oh, we do see Peke. He jumps across the Voice Box. They're not quite in range, though. Shushay, unfortunately, well, he reset that golem, mainly for the fact that it saved it from being stolen away by Peke.
And Demon, this entire game, we've seen so many wards on the top side for Dragonborn, so many pink wards just trying to get control of those top bushes, but look what Fnatic did. They have 3 pink wards down around the top side. They really want to deny any vision away from Dragonborns, and this has to mean that Fnatic might go for an early Baron in about 2 minutes.
Peke is putting a lot of damage on that mid turret right now, and it looks like he's going to maybe even go aggressive on Meluna. Meluna very, very low there. But luckily for him, the minion wave came Congo lining back up there, and he does clear them out. But Peke is starting to be very aggressive in this mid turret.
He wants to get that down. Like, they want to apply some pressure somewhere. They know in about a minute and a half that Baron will be available, and they want to make a play somewhere, really create an opportunity for them to take it, because if they take it early on, as you see Soaz even just ulting the wave just so he can leave and go buy up. But that early pressure will give them such an advantage if they can actually get that Baron, because they can group up. You have Yellowstar's already ahead in his lane, almost has a Bloodthirster. You be able to Blood Boil him, and you have Xpeke, who's already 2-1-1 and almost has his Bloodthirster on top of it as well. So they have a lot more damage than Dragonborns has currently.
So that top lane, they've stayed there for a very long time. And now the Bloodthirster's nearly completed on both Peke and Yellowstar. You see the Ice Blast still keep going on Yamato Cannon. Such an annoying champion to play against Nunu right now. N-rated, he's just off the side. He wants to try and get those grasping roots onto Hosan.
And he's trying to make it happen. He's trying to make some sort of play out of those pink wards being down, but unfortunately, Hosan playing a little bit safe. And, you know, that AP Nunu in the bottom lane or the top lane, wherever he's going to go, it's pretty much AP Tryndamere version 2 right now. And you're going to see everyone playing him in that solo queue. He's just so hard to move at all, and you always have that threat of an early Baron or early Dragons being taken from you.
Explosive Spiders being thrown out from Mouvette.
But Yellowstar and Hosan continue their farming spree in that top lane. Cyanide going to come up towards the top, see if he can make a play.
And Soaz is heading towards the top side of the map as well. They have a four-man gank happening potentially up there in the top side very soon. We're going to have Cyanide, it looks like, and Soaz both solo this Baron as it comes up at exactly 15 minutes. Actually, all Fnatic sitting around next to it to help out for this. And with those plants at Desire, this should be a very easy and a very free Baron for Fnatic.
Manages to get the 3 seeds down there to see if he can manage to try and take that Baron down as quickly as possible. And he does indeed. And it looks like we're going to get Soaz coming in there. While this is all happening, Peke, he went all the way down the bottom, almost trying to give it away, just so it's not so blatantly obvious. Absolute zero coming out from Soaz. He's tanking it up right now. They should take this one down without Dragonborn spotting it.
And the thing is, we saw this happen yesterday. Dragonborns should expect this. Just looking at the items alone, they should know that something like this is going on. And Fnatic will be able to lock this down and secure it. Not to mention, they're sitting on quite a bit of gold now because of that. And now we're going to start seeing Fnatic be very aggressive, making some plays happen.
They're going straight towards Hosan. They've pinged on him, and you can see them rushing in there. The stealth comes out from Yellowstar. They're rushing straight in. Can they catch on towards him? They do get the slow. The Ice Blast goes down. The ward comes in, and he tries to put the bullet time off, but he's not going to get away from this one. And now Cyanide has got Wither available in just a moment. Move ahead, has got Cocoon. See if he can land it on him. It's going to be so important. Ice Blast, of course, from the blood boiled up. Soaz should slow him down. Flashes through into the Baron pit, but the Ice Blast landed, and the stealth in Rat comes around and catches him off. He is his Angel of Death, but Peke is going to get taken in the bottom lane. He's going to get away from this one. Tries to repel. Cyanide's there, and he takes him down. Maluno, meanwhile, on the bottom lane. Can he catch on towards Peke? He's going to jump away from this one. Slides in, goes aggressive on the tower. Is it going to be enough? The Cataclysm comes in. He may well be the death of him. One more tower hit. Can he take him down? Yes, he will. And Peke gets the revenge.
So even 1-for-1 shaded there. And the thing was, Peke was going head-to-head against Yamanocan the entire time in that lane, and Yamanocan almost took him down under his own turret. In the meantime, you are seeing Fnatic push that top lane, so they got Baron. They got 2 kills on the top side. They got 1 bottom and got a turret off of that. They just got a lot of gold income.
So, Dragonborns, they are going to have to defend out this mid lane. I think Shushe might be able to hold off this wave unless he gets caught by the grasping roots. And Yellowstar turns straight back around and puts all that damage down on him quickly. Half his health stripped away. And now we see Soaz coming around. Has to use the intervention. Absolute Zero is going to come out. Will he be able to pop? Oh, he gets him! Would you believe it? Soaz perfectly times it. Almost hit by a hallowed point.
And that is exactly what a AP Nunu can do to your team. If you sit in the middle of that ultimate and you let a full channel go off, you're not going to stay around for much longer than that.
Oh, he's going to see the Cocoon though. Cyanide's going to get caught out, but Yellowstar is still there, laying down the damage. Remember, the Baron buff is still on these, and Cyanide wants to keep it on him, and he just manages to avoid the damage. Very well played.
We do see Dragon available right now. Soaz looks like he's already heading over towards it, and with that item he has, with the consume he has, they easily can take this down very quickly. There is a ward, though, for Dragonborn's side, and they might try to contest it here a little bit, but they have to remember, they're up against a Baroned up Fnatic who's already strong at this point.
Yeah, he hasn't got Absolute Zero available, so he was thinking of setting things up there. So I was just going to throw that Ice Blast out. It's doing so much damage. Peke's going to try and follow up on it. He manages to get the Void Spikes down there. You can see N-Rated coming in. He tries to put the ultimate down. Mover's going to get caught out there. The Grasping Root catches on towards him. Peke picks up the kill, gets the reset, jumps in towards Hosan. Barrier down, intervention on him as well. He should be able to avoid the damage here. And the Fnatic, they're going to have to back away. And now we see Hosan turn around. He puts bullet time down. Will Shushe try and follow this one through? No, doesn't look like he can. He gets on towards Soaz. Yes, he does. And that's an even trade.
And Soaz is trying to get there and consume one of those wraiths away, but unfortunately he just wasn't able to. Shushe did catch him here, but now Dragon being started for Fnatic. They have the damage they need right now, even with Soaz not there. And Dragonborn's trying to stop it here, but Jarvan is back in base. They're not going to have that smite available.
Is this the right choice? Shimano Cannon, he tries to throw out the shurikens, can't quite steal it away. Didn't have his ultimate available, or a flash. Actually, he had his ultimate, not the flash, though, so he couldn't get involved.
And we are seeing, like we talked about AP cannons the past couple of days, as we saw Freddy 1-2 playing him in the top lane, is that you kind of need to go for it early Zonias, but if you get pushed around or bossed around in lane, you're not going to afford that item very early on. And we do see Dragonborns is against a very heavy AD composition right now, and a slow that you're really never going to escape from. So in terms of items, I mean, he's looking good in terms of damage, but he needs some survivability in these fights.
So Yamana Cannon versus Peke right now is actually working pretty well for Yamato. He's managing to keep in it. He's picked up 5 assists, but it's all about the kills for Peke. 4-2-1 right now. That tier, it must be very well stacked by now. We're getting close to being ready and waiting to turn it around. Yellowstar, look at this. They're trying to camp him out here. But Cyanide and Soaz ready and waiting.
He has flash, he has exhaust to get away if he does need to. And this is going to be a turnaround for Fnatic if they do, in fact, go for it. We have 4 members of Dragonborns now towards the top side of the map, and we're seeing Yellowstar actually stealth into the bush. They're going to go for this fight.
He's going to see 4 members. He turns around, flashes out. He's going to have spray and pray available. Will he be able to use it? Cat's going to get some cats onto it. Absolute Zero is going to go down. Maluno's surely going to get popped by this one. Yes, he will. Now they're on towards Movet. He's going to repel towards the minions, but Cyanide and Soa is going to continue chasing. It's Shushay. Oh, intervention comes out just at the right time. It's going to be a double kill picked up for Cyanide, and now Shushay is going to go down. It's a triple kill. He's seeing blood red right now. Can he catch on to the last one? No, he can't. He's managed to back. Very well played.
It's such a smart play out of Fnatic as well. They're like, forget Mover. We don't want him. We want to go for the kill on a Shushay. We want to go for the kill on a Host, and they pick those up. We see actually a engage on the bottom lane happening.
The rush comes out. Peke's going to have a jump straight in there. Only gets stunned again. The voice spike lands in. Will he be able to die by the sword? Yes, he has. And Peke gets the kill with the ignite.
And now it's 60-7, 20 minutes in for Fnatic. They already got the first Baron at 15 minutes. They're trying to go on Mover here.
Oh, the repel comes up, but where's he going to go? He's just going straight back towards Fnatic. He could well be going down. Can he get popped off? No, the ultimate doesn't quite catch him out there. The wither comes from Cyanide, but it's not enough. And now Hosan's going to try and turn this one around. Maluno chases, but the grasping roots are there from Enrated.
Great play out of Enrated there to lock them down. And in the meantime, the top lane Soaz was able to push that turret up a little bit further. We've seen item builds for Fnatic just get further and further ahead at this point. Maluno, he did go for a very early Spear of the Elder Lizard, so he wants the damage, but red buff will be stolen away by Xpeke.
Peke managing to catch that one with the Void Spikes. Thought there was going to be a smite still coming in. Instead, he turns around, goes in towards Maluno, and he just gets popped where he stands. Peke picking up another kill, 61. Now the Void Spikes really starting to hurt the AD carry of Hosan there.
And the thing is, Fnatic, they look very similar to the Dragonborns we saw back in Week 4, Week 5. It's just being very aggressive, just playing like, just grouping up, picking up kills left and right and starting to snowball a game in their favor. But Fnatic's doing that to them at this point.
Look at the aggression! He just jumps onto the turret. Hosan gets caught out by some black magic there, and Peke leaping through. They're going to try and repel through. Oh, and he got him! Very nicely played there from Move Air. Tries to turn it back around. It was Yamada Cannon that picked up the kill in the end, though. And he's going to flash towards his turret. Can he be the captor of Sin on towards Shushay, though, coming around? Yellowstar's going to get caught out. He gets dropped. And now Cyanide's the target. He's going to get slowed down. There's nothing he can do to escape this one. They're going to turn it into the Absolute Zero. Soaz is there! Brilliantly played there from Nunu from Soaz.
And they're just sitting there in the bush saying, come on, Cyanide, get over here. We want to make that ultimate happen. And they just blew up Shushay right there. And that's with not even that much damage currently onto Soaz. So fights breaking out left and right. And Fnatic coming out the victor here with a 10,000 gold lead at this point.
So, close action, but Fnatic definitely building up a huge advantage, and I think we're starting to see some crazy aggression coming from these both teams, and it's great to see. First game of the day, top versus bottom, or well, it will be top if Fnatic do win this game out. Of course, it does mean that getting for that first place. As it stands, though, Fnatic looking good for taking first. Baron up in 20 seconds.
We see 4 pink where it's picked up for N-rated, so they want to make sure to lock down this Baron coming up again. He even went for an early Leandries on his Zyre, which I don't believe I've ever seen that item actually get completed within 20 minutes for a team, but they are going to be going for this Baron relatively soon. They have their whole team comp available for it, and the Sun and ulti will be up very shortly, which will just shred away Baron.
Peke with that Oracle on. He's going to be moving into position. Baron is now live. And that Oracle of Peke as he walks straight past the ward. Don't give a monkeys right now. Cyanide is just going to keep them at bay with that Spirit Fire. And he's going to be backed off. So, Yellowstar starts off the Baron. And how are Dragonborns going to be able to react to this one? Are they even going to be able to get close here? I'm not sure.
I don't think Cyanide or even Soaz is going to let them, or not Soaz, sorry, Xpeke let them be able to do this. It's Xpeke with the Oracle who's just trying to keep them away. Just trying to keep that Void Spike onto him as you're seeing the Baron fall even quicker. Mover coming in from the side as well as Shushay. They're going to try to stop it here, but it might be the death of them.
They're going to try and come around there. Soaz does take a bit of abuse. Remember, he's got nothing he can consume around here, so he can't manage to regen those hit points back as quickly as he can. Bullet time comes across, but doesn't really land. It's a great jump from Maluna and a fantastic Cataclysm to follow on. Yamada Cannon, he's going to try and get that lightning surge on towards him. Absolute Zero comes out from Soaz, and he's going to be a triple kill for Peke. He's yumping around left, right, and center. Now he's going to chase down. Can he get the quadra kill on towards Mover? He could get the pentakill on towards Shushay. There's going to be the intervention. He gets the quadra. He jumps. Oh, and it's going to be Shushay. He stops him, shuts him down. Cyanide, though, with the Spirit Fire, gets the kill, and it's the ace for Fnatic.
And going back and looking at how that fight happened, we saw an amazing engage out of Maluno catching 3 members of Fnatic, but you saw right there, he trapped him in the Cataclysm. We saw the cannon ultimate coming from the side, but a nice knockup from N-rated, and a nice position from Fnatic overall inside of that Cataclysm, kept them out of that stun range, and they're able to turn that fight around, picking up those 4 or 5 kills.
Fantastic play for both teams right now, showing full-on aggression and really no cares given between either team, honestly. Fnatic looking very, very good for the win, though, here right now. If they can pick up this Baron, now 25-12 in kills, 12,000 gold ahead.
3-0 on turrets, and that gold is just going to stretch so much more with the Baron. And double Bloodthirster picked up by Peke now.
I was just going to point that out to you. That is just ridiculous. The only person you ever see do that is Genja on his Misfortune, or even back in his Katowice days with his Ezreal. And now he's going to give him so much damage. He's already 11-4 at this point. And the thing is, Dragonborns, they've fallen over 10,000 gold behind. They don't have damage, and they also don't have the tankiness they need, as we finally see the Zhonya's picked up for Yamada-Kan. So he's going to be able to really do something in these fights. But if he goes in alone, like once that Zhonya's falls off with no one else on his team going in with him, he's just going to get exploded.
Maluna taking down the mid turret, the first turret of the game for Dragonborns. They do manage to get one down there at least. It's almost a relegation material battle though for Dragonborns, and unfortunately for them, it does look like they are going to be facing Meteor Makers or Dexter's Actually Evil in the playoffs, which will be in 2 weeks' time. The promotion series, I should say, not the playoffs. Playoffs will be next week. That's between the top 6 teams. And the 7th and 8th place team goes straight in towards the promotion series, whether they can stay in the league or whether we're going to have teams changing around. Of course, the same will be happening in North America the week later. So they will not be happening the same week. Don't worry, you won't be jam-packed as you have been these last week for Super Week.
And we do have Fnatic barreling down this middle lane right now. We have such a great pushing comp out of Fnatic. Nothing really Dragonborns can do about this in terms of like pushing them away and stopping it, since they have that Baron buff available. And it looks like we'll see the first inhibitor turret go down here, Demon.
Yeah, the void spikes, so look how much damage they're doing. Shusei's going to have to back away from this one. There's going to be the inhibitor turret going down, and now Hosan's going to get caught out. Intervention comes out, but it's not going to be enough. Absolute Zero flash comes out from Soaz. That's going to pop and explode. Hosan goes down from that one. He's almost born of fire, and now they're going to be the inhibitor. It's going to be the final thing to go down. The post-mortem on this will not look good for Dragonborns, but it does not matter because Fnatic, they're trying to clear out. Peke's gone a little bit too deep. The rappel comes out. It's a Spirit in Black, and he gets dropped down. He is going to be very high in the score, though, and it looks like Fnatic are going to be able to close this one down. The expendable youth did not quite work out for Dragonborns, and they just needed a little bit of chemical warfare to take them down. And that is the end of the decade of aggression for Fnatic.
A great job of them over the entire game. The aggression they applied throughout the entire time, which is unmatched by anyone of Dragonborns, and they will be able to close out this game and get their first place standing back. Or as I say that, they're running away, but if they do win the game, I see they get their first place back in the standings.
Well, Yamato, oh, look at Yellowstar. He's just stealth around the back, comes around, stops the spray and pray. Doesn't even bother with spray and pray. He doesn't even need it because he's got that much damage. He's just poking him straight down. Fnatic having fun to finish off this game. He just dodges out that shuriken, throws out. Look at that. It's just how much damage those ice blasts are doing right now. Hasn't got a great deal of mana. He's doing a dance. He's doing a little dance around the fountain, going in towards a Yamato cannon. He's just going to get held off. And Fnatic, they want to finish this one off, but they're waiting for Peke to get in there, the main killer.
And even a surrender vote coming out for the Dragonborns. This is 1-2. They haven't actually surrendered fully here. It looks like a couple of members of them want to give this a go, so like they still have a chance. But Maluna trying to come in with those home grounded boots, not really able to engage here. But we do have X-Peke coming in down the lane. This is going to be the final fight right here, Demon.
Well, he's on 12-5-4 right now, Peke. So as soon as he gets in here, I expect the tide will turn. Not so easy for me to say, it seems, after the first game of the day. Oh, dear me.
Oh, but here they go, Demon. The one Nexus turret remaining. They're going to go for the win.
It's 13-30 right now, and it's going to be a dominant performance for Fnatic. They finally get on towards it. The grasping roots on towards Shusei. Intervention. You're going to see he's going to try and get caught out. The Void Spikes finish him off. Yellowstar jumps in. Cataclysm comes down. They finally get hold of that rat. Absolute Zero pops off from Soaz. It's going to be a Yamato cannon just trying to avoid it with a Zhonya's Hourglass, but Peke jumps straight back on towards him. They don't want to finish it yet. They're not purposely taking down the Nexus turrets on the Nexus. It's almost like an Aram. They just want kill after kill. It's all about KDA right now. They're trying to chase it down. Hosan gets on towards the fountain. Can he turn the aggression back around? Nexus turret's finally taking some damage. The rappel comes out. Move he wants to get on towards Peke, but it's not going to happen. The blood boiled up so as he's going to catch into her. Peke jumps in, jumps out again. No problem. He's got this one covered. He's read all of the tips from Ocelot.
And Fnatic now going to take that first place standing back over Gambit here. Well played game by both teams, you have to say, because Dragonborns did hold on for quite a bit into the beginning of the game, but with 34-14 with only a 28-minute game, Fnatic closed it out in style, getting even a 15-minute Baron.
Fantastic, fantastic play from Fnatic against the Dragonborns, proving why they are in that top 2 position, currently holding first place. And to take us through the analysis, it is going to be Joe Miller and Trevor Quickshot Henry.
Thanks a lot, guys. That was off the wall. A real thriller, Trevor.
Yeah, you know, the picks out of Fnatic, they were dangerous. Nunu was a real smooth criminal, and with that consumed so strong in lane, some could say he could heal the world.
Yeah, we also underestimated the stealth, to be honest, in that Fnatic, especially in the Fnatic lineup, especially in that top lane, of course. With Twitch in lane, you're not alone. And Dragonborns just couldn't find a way to beat it.
No, not at all.
Yeah, let's have a look at the replays then that we picked out for this one.
Well, remember the time when 23 minutes on the clock. Let's jump into the replay as Baron Nashor has already respawned. This is the second time in the game. Jason touched on it. I believe that's the earliest Baron in the LCS so far. Now at 23 minutes, Fnatic have got a massive, massive gold advantage. They have positional advantage on Baron, and as you can see, the Dragonborns members, they're trying to defend. The thing that went very, very well for Fnatic in this particular fight is Cyanide single-handedly zones out 2 members of the Dragonborns. He is going to chase both Movert and Shushay out of this fight for the entire duration. As the fight goes on, Fnatic do well to kite around the Dragonborns members, but again, I really just want to highlight what a great job Cyanide is doing to remove the members of Dragonborns from the play. A lot of damage goes down in Yellowstar, being Twitch, being the rat. He does get dropped very, very quickly. And as you can just see, just a great hop, skip, and jump comes out of Peke to close the matchup. We go back up to the top lane, and look at the damage that Movert and Shushay have taken. That's single-handedly from Cyanide. He was there to close it out. This game was extremely dramatic. It was non-stop action from the get-go.
Yeah.
And it was Fnatic really just saying, there's no pressure in this one. There's nothing on us to force our hand, and they just played a flawless, aggressive game.
Yeah, really strong performance, and you know that's kind of what you expect with top of the table versus bottom of the table clash. Unfortunately, for Dragonborns, they're fighting, of course, for their pride at this stage of things, and getting some extra practice in at this stage of the tournament because they are going to have to play in that promotion series later on. We got to bring you an MVP, of course, from this one. Another fairly difficult one to call from Fnatic because it was such a one-sided victory for them, but in the end, we went for Peke.
Yeah, you had to call out Xpeke's Kha'Zix 14-5-6. He almost got the quadra kill. Mega style points for going for the double Bloodthirster. Didn't even manage to make it to the Black Cleaver. Just a very, very strong performance. Also the highest CS in the game at the end of that matchup. So 28 minutes, 2 Barons, or almost 2 Barons in there, and a 34-14 scoreline. It was a bit of a stomping.
Yeah, a big win there for Fnatic. We're going to get over to the main stage where Shox is waiting, not only with a banana-coloured dress, but with N-rated.
Thank you, Joe. Yes, N-rated. That looks kind of like a practice run for you guys. Wasn't a lot of trouble with Dragonborns.
Well, right now, I think we were pretty comfortable with what we have, and we are safe second, so we didn't really come with a lot of pressure into this game. But it's never easy, and we took it serious. But at a certain point, it just started to get out of control.
Having a little fun there at the end as well. But you grasp first place now. I need to ask you, what's your eyes set on the second half of the season? Who do you think of the lower teams, will really grow even more and might even threaten your place?
Right now, we cannot really say that since there are a lot of upcoming teams. But in my opinion, it can be definitely anyone that steps up his game and tries to improve. I think Wolves have a good shot. I think AAA has a good shot. They're really practicing a lot. There are a lot of teams that have a lot of potential. You will see that what they do with their potential. It's not really clear, what are they going to do with it. That's the point.
All right. Now, next week, we're going into the playoffs. You could face either AAA, EG, SK, or the Copenhagen Wolves. So who are you most afraid of and why? And who are you think won't be that much of trouble for you guys?
I think Wolves are in really good shape, so I would say we don't want to face Wolves, but we don't really care since we have to beat everyone to be first, so we just play whoever we have to play and win.
Thank you very much, N-rated. Now, since Diud joined the team, everything has come together for Against All Authority. They were incredibly close to taking down Gambit last week, and with the playoffs in sight, they will be looking to beat the Russian overlords. We'll be right back with AA versus Gambit, and we'll also have Ocelot at the analysis desk, so stick around.